Thank you for joining me for the last day of my curatorship of the Artist Demo Days page. I hope you've enjoyed what we've been doing, transferring this image from a sketch through to a painting, which I will finish off any minute now. As always, we really appreciate your support, so please go to all of us on the group. We've all got Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and if you support us through that, it really helps us, so thank you very much. So on to finishing off the painting, and I will see you at the other end. So now I'm going to work on our little girl here. And I'm starting at the top with her hat, so I'm taking some of my Naples yellow. And a little bit of that down. Picking up a bit of my white as well. And then using my yellow ochre as the shaded side here. To start with, I'm just repeating the layer of paint just to give me again that strength of colour, then I can add to it. I'm going to pick up some of my umber. Shade along under the brim of the hat. Just making sure we get the front, the side, the back and all the different parts of this hat shaded in. Just very lightly brushing a little texture onto it. And I do think my little girl here would have, putting a ribbon onto the hat to match her outfit. With my magenta. Right, I'm going to put another layer on her face, but I'm not going to paint the details in yet. Again, this is just about strengthening that colour to start off with. Lovely little pudgy arms and legs. And then come back in and look at her outfit, her little pink outfit. Again, this is about starting to shade this. A little darker behind her elbow. Blending that through over her bottom. So to start off with here, I'm just using more of the magenta. sometimes in order to make something darker you have to add something to it. So I can't make magenta darker just by adding more magenta, so I'm going to add some of my ultramarine into that. So you can see here I've added the ultramarine and that just makes it this deeper purple. And that allows me to give some sort of folds and creases into the fabric. And conversely we can add a bit of highlights to it. So I picked up some of the Naples and the white just to put a couple of little light ripples onto the fabric. Just going to add a dark here, ultramarine and umber to create the inside of this bucket. And create some shading on the bucket itself. And conversely with the blue bucket, I feel I need to add some light to it rather than dark. It's already quite dark, so I'm going to add some light to make that top look like it's got a hole in it. There's a hole in my bucket, dear Louisa. Now, coming back to the sand around these buckets, I'm using my my yellow ochre, and I'm going to put some shading into those in a minute. Just sitting here on the ground. I didn't want to put my shading underneath the lady up here until I'd got the rest of this painted, just in case I needed to end up painting over it. So I'm going to come back to the figure and put some shading onto that. So again, it's the same thing as I did before, it's just using varieties of the Naples yellow, magenta, umber and red gold. The side and under the hat are going to be in shade. She's got one knee bent back under there. How children sit like that, I don't know, because I can't. An arm just going just visible behind there. And again here, just having the shadow coming down the side of the arm. So I'm getting the overall shape before I put too many details in. Now I want to mix up a bit of a shadow colour that I'm going to put on the sand, and I'm actually doing this as a purple. We often mix, let's just show you the colour I'm using here. It's here. It's my ultramarine, my magenta, and a little bit of my Naples yellow. When we make shadows on sand, if we use blue, there is a tendency they could go green. So she will be creating a shadow herself. Masses of detail to go on this lady here. Her back to us. First of all, I need to strengthen the paint. Start defining her hair a little bit. I'm just using yellow ochre on this at the moment. I'm going to use some blues and whites to start putting the shadow on her top. Now, on this side it's quite shaded. And again, to start with, I'm just going to reiterate and strengthen the colour on her shorts, and then we can put some details onto it in a minute. Sorry, I'm getting totally carried away here and I've gone quiet because I'm just really enjoying myself. And you can take this as far as you want to. You can add lots of details, you can keep it really simple. Adding a variety of different shading into this. Add a bit of shading into the shorts. Also add some detailing in there, like a little bit of a lighter pocket. Add a bit of a highlight on the leg. Bit of shadow onto the hair. Then just putting my brush in the water, just pulling that around. Then I think we need a couple of highlights on the hair. And you could carry on with this for a long time and just really build this up. But it's a really simple design. Now I have a challenge. I just want a suggestion of a face. Right, so I want to put some sand and shadow around my ladies, just a little hint of. I'm not keen on that, so I'm going over that edge of the hat. Just a little somewhere for them to be resting. Again, going to make my shadow colour, so my ultramarine, my magenta and my Naples yellow. A few shadows around our ladies. Smudge those a bit, and I think I'm going to leave it there. So I hope you enjoyed that, and it was just a way of taking some of those little sketches that you have done on your sketchbook and that you love and you want to take somewhere further, that you can do it on a different surface. You can do it on a piece of newspaper, you can do it on a map, you can do it on a piece of fabric, as long as you've got the right grounding, the right gesso. So if you were going to use a piece of fabric, you would either need to have a transparent gesso, or you would need to just gesso the areas that you're going to paint, as I did with the piece that I've done this week. So I hope that gives you a little bit of inspiration. I'm going to jump on in a minute and just say my live farewell and give you an update on things you should be looking out for in the next few weeks. And thank you so much for joining me. You don't know how much it means. So thank you.